It's time right now for a draft day edition of the Y9 Omaha 4 Down Around League Blitz thingy.
There you go.
That's it.
I like the head of the thingy.
Yep, 7 questions. 7 draft-related NFL questions. On your mark, get set, go.
All right, you guys flip a coin. You guys decide who's going to go first?
No.
I'll go first.
All right, here we go.
First.
All right, Gator, lock it in. Most people think Bryce Young will be the consensus #1 overall pick. So the draft starts at 2. Who do the Texans pick?
Sadly, I hate to say it, Will Anderson Jr., and he'll be off the board, and the Lions won't be able to take him at 6. I just think this makes all the sense in the world for Houston. Will Levis never makes sense to me. If you're going to go quarterback, you go Stroud, but I think they're going to go with the sure thing for the defensive-minded coach, DeMeco Ryans. He's going to step in and work with the best defensive player in this draft, Will Anderson Jr.
I'm buying the Tyree Wilson hype. I think he's the pick, and I think there's too many people are going there, and I'm a little surprised by it. I maybe go back and reevaluate Tyree Wilson, and I actually am warming up to the idea. If he is the leftover defensive lineman at 6, I'm okay with it. But I think he's going to Houston.
Yeah, I'm not warming up to the idea of Tyree Wilson. I actually don't think he goes as high as everyone thinks he is. I think the Texans end up taking Will Anderson. I think they should take a quarterback, but they're going to wait. They're going to roll the dice and try to get one at 12 or next year. I think it's a mistake because they thought they were going to get Bryce Young this year. Didn't happen, did it? So I think they give Davis Mills another shot if they don't get their quarterback at 12. I got Will Anderson going 2. All right, what player will get drafted at a lot lower spot than they are mocked at?
So there's a little bit of hunchy stuff, but my hunch is Anthony Richardson. I think all the hype in the pre-draft talk, I could see him plummeting in this first round. And it's just, it's the tape. Now, you can make an argument for him. And I watched the whole second half of the Florida State game where his receivers didn't help him at all. Yeah. I mean, contested catches. Not all drop. I wouldn't call them straight drops, but they weren't making any contested catches. But at the end of the day, I think that the quarterback hype has put him in the top 5. I wouldn't be surprised to see him still on the board in the 20s.
Well, he's a little bit kind of like last year's Malik Willis, right? Except he's not going to slip to the 3rd round because he's got a better track record than that. So it's interesting you say that. I'm going to go with Quentin Johnston, the wide receiver from TCU. He's outstanding, but I just, from a guy who was considered to be the top wide receiver not that long ago, and now it's just kind of like, oh, maybe he'll be there at 18 for the, and I just have a strange feeling this guy's going to drop way to the end of the first round.
I was torn between 2 guys here. It was Tyree Wilson and Quentin Johnston. Tyree Wilson with the foot thing. There's rumors that it may not have healed correctly. He hasn't been able to work out for any teams.
Oh, he's got a foot.
So I feel like he could fall, but I end up going with your guy, Gator, Quentin Johnston. I think he actually might fall out of the first round.
He may.
Bad route runner. He tries to make up with it in other ways. Disappeared completely in the championship game against a really tough Georgia defense. I mean, that's a Georgia defense. What about NFL defensive backs? I think Quentin Johnston falls.
He's got some dropsies, too.
All right, what player will get drafted a lot higher than where they're going to be mocked at?
I think this is Bijan Robinson, the running back. I just think it's pipe dreamish stuff for people that really want Bijan Robinson at 18 for the Lions. I just think it's a pipe dream. I think he's gone by 15 at the Lions. I just see Philadelphia being really interested. It's interesting. There's a radio host in Philadelphia, Howard Eskin, who has put his job on the line if Philadelphia drafts Bijan Robinson.
What do you do?
I just read that this morning. He said, I will retire if they draft him. Now, we just shoot the boot bets, man. I'm not risking my career over it, but I could see it happening where Bijan goes as high as 10 or 11.
He's been mocked between 15 and 26. He's starting to show up in the top 10. I expect him to go in the top 10. I completely agree. I think Bijan's the candidate who goes higher than he's mocked.
All right, Doug, help me out in the name here. The kid from USC, Tuipulotu.
Sure.
Way to go.
Oh, you don't know him? All right. Well, anyways, see, this is why this is my pick. I don't think he's mocked anywhere in the first round. I think he's a second round at best guy. I think with the emphasis on pass rushers, he can play inside, he can play outside. I think he goes to either the Ravens or maybe in the last pick with Kansas City. I think that's going to be a surprise name you see in the first round tonight. All right, who you positive is going to be a bust?
Okay, I'm not positive on anybody.
Too bad.
Right? Yeah. So, but I got to choose somebody.
No one's positive.
Yeah,
on
the most smoke is around Jalen Carter. I just can't shake it. I think he has the highest probability. It's up to him to prove me and any other doubters wrong. I didn't love the quote. I think he knows that the rap is out there and he can't fight it because it's true. The other stuff, there's warning signs there. And to be a bust, you have to be drafted really high. I think he's still going to go very high, but if I had to pick one, I'm not taking it on the Lions, but then again, he's got to go to the right culture. So I'm going with him most highest bust probability.
Will Levis. I don't get it. I've never gotten the hype about Will Levis. Oh, he's got a strong arm. Great. To me, this is the ultimate Johnny Bravo guy. He fits the suit. He fits the uniform. That's it. That's the only reason that the teams want him is because he looks good in the uniform and if they get to look good on draft night when he walks up the stage. He's not good. I don't think he's good at all. No way. Buster Rooney.
I've got Jalen Carter as well, Doug. I'm not rooting for him to be a bust either. I'm not rooting for any player to be a bust. I want all these guys to live up to their potential. There's just too many red flags with Jalen Carter's work ethic. I feel like you can't just turn that on overnight. He's going to have to get in the right situation with right people, and hopefully then he can turn into what he's supposed to be and reach the ceiling, but just too many red flags with Jalen Carter in my book. All right, going the other way, who are you positive is going to be a stud?
Bryce Young. I was convinced of it before the season began. He was the best quarterback, and he's just that's who he is. He makes the right decision. He makes plays with his feet to buy extra time. If he has to take off and go, he's got the speed to do it. He's got a strong enough arm to make those throws. The only concern people should have about him is his size at 5'10". But this guy didn't get many passes batted back because he knows how to maneuver in that pocket and around that pocket to open up different lanes for it. I think he's ready for the NFL. He's going to take him by storm.
I'm going Jack Campbell. I just love this guy as a prospect. It's a position that, like running back, seems to get downgraded. I said it in the mock draft. I'd take him at 18 and gave all the reasons why.
How is he going to be able to perform with you on his leg the whole time?
I don't know, but I'll be right there.
I've got Bijan Robinson. I think the position itself just lends you to be less of a bust because if you're really, this guy's supposed to be a top 5 talent and he plays running back. It's just kind of read and react. See the hole, hit the hole. Use your athleticism. That takes over at that point. You can learn the playbook. You get on the field faster when you're a running back. I think Bijan Robinson is going to be a stud for whatever team he goes to. All right, what team absolutely needs to make a trade tonight?
So I'm encouraging one team to make 2 trades. One, Arizona trade back and take the best tackle available, and then with the pick at 34, the third pick of the second round, trade back into the first round and get the best interior lineman available, whether it be the Michael Schmitz kid from Minnesota or Cyrus Torrance. They need help on the offensive line. Their quarterback needs help and has called for it. They really need help on the interior, but I would make those 2 moves, get more draft capital because Arizona is an absolute mess.
Well, I think Tennessee has an opportunity here to get their quarterback, and they're going to have to make a move, and I think that they should trade with Arizona at number 3. I think that Will Anderson's going to be gone at 2, so they're going to have their pick of the quarterbacks, and the pick of the quarterback should be C.J. Stroud. I think he's got all the talent that you need from the quarterback position. I think he's going to go somewhere where he can flourish, and Tennessee could be that spot. I think they'll add some weapons around him, but it may be a rough first season for him, but Tennessee needs to get their quarterback, and Stroud's a good one.
I think the L.A. Chargers absolutely need to trade up for Bijan Robinson. I think Austin Eckler wants out. I think they got to move him. You don't want an unhappy running back there, and that running back is so important to that offense and Justin Herbert. Bijan Robinson is also a pass catcher, and you have him locked up for a rookie deal. They don't want to pay a running back, clearly, because they don't want to pay Austin Eckler, who's one of the better running backs in the league. Chargers need to make a move, get up Bijan Robinson, move on from Eckler. Our last question, not draft related, but draft picks were involved. Aaron Rodgers finally gets traded to the Jets. How far will Aaron Rodgers take the Jets this year?
It's interesting that the Jets weren't that far out of the playoff spot last year, but they still finished 7-10. Aaron Rodgers makes this team better because he's a really good quarterback. I'm not sure if the team's ready to take that leap to get into the playoffs, but I'll say that they will. and they'll lose in the first round. They'll lose in a wild card. They're just not good enough, and it's a mistake. For Aaron Rodgers wanted out of Green Bay. Well, you find yourself out. You're not going to win, but you got out. Good for you.
We talked about this in the Afterglow yesterday. I find it very curious that the Lions won 9 games. Everybody thinks they're going to be better, and the Vegas over-under for wins for them is 9.5. And I was trying to think of the reason why. And the reason is because, in my opinion, the Lions play 4 games against the AFC West next year. Well, guess what? So do the Jets. That's the other AFC division that they draw. Plus, their division's tough. I think they go 9-8 next year and miss the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, that's just a shame.
I'm a lot higher on this move, actually. I think this was obviously a win-now move, and I think they make it to the AFC Championship to go against either the Chiefs or Chargers. They were terrible last year at quarterback. Their quarterback play was awful, and they were able to win 7 games. Probably should have made the playoffs with some decent quarterback play. I think the biggest factor here is Nathaniel Hackett's there. This is exactly what the Broncos were trying to do and didn't get it done. They had to settle for Russell Wilson and give up everything. But guess what? Hackett and Rodgers, they work well together. Solid on that defense. Wilson, Breece Hall, those weapons, draft picks. I like them to go to the AFC Championship.
There it is. Another edition of the Wide Night Omaha 4 Down Round League Blitz thingy. Football questions, most of them draft related.